Are you feeling the sympathy for the devil? Oh, God, that was awful. I should think of something else. I won't though. So, hey everybody, there is a trailer for season 3 of Daredevil. And despite the fact that for me, the bloom has been off the rose of the Marvel Netflix shows for a while, I can't help but get excited by that. Because KINGPIN. That's why. He was not the only good thing about the first season, but almost everything that worked in some way revolved around him. And seeing so much focus on him, knowing he's coming back, getting Vincent D'Onofrio back in this part, oh, yes! And that makes me genuinely excited. And from what I understand, they're not cribbing any specific storyline that the Kingpin has been a part of previously, which means that anything could happen. If they're not directly pulling from a story that's been done before, who knows where this goes? I am really excited, and it's going to be interesting that he comes back to power at the same time as Daredevil, as Matt seems to be hitting his lowest point. Anyway, he seems disillusioned with his whole mission and with what he does, or at least with the way he had been going about it up to this point. So we've got this whole element where it looks like Kingpin is looking to pin Daredevil as a menace. A little bit like, honestly, like J. Jonah Jameson would do with Spider-Man. But what's interesting about it is, usually when there's something like this, when there's basically a framing of the hero, it doesn't always coincide with the hero themselves getting to a position where that becomes more plausible. Like, to take Spider-Man, for example, Jameson would constantly be blaming him for this, that, and the other, and it just wouldn't jibe. It's just like, why would anyone ever believe that? I mean, some people still do, because they'll believe anything that's in print. But, with this, it looks like Matt himself is being pushed to the point where it becomes much more believable that he would cross these lines that our fake Daredevil that we see at the end of the trailer appears to be doing. And I did go back and rewatch it, because initially I was like, oh, is this like a Vision thing? Like, oh, because Matt is in the thing. He was basically in the first season, with just the up in the front, the scarf thing, and facing off against Daredevil. And I was like, oh, is this like a metaphorical Superman 3 thing fight that's going on? No. They're getting a closer look at him. That's not the same jawline. It's not the same voice. It's a different actor. So and this has probably been confirmed elsewhere, but me and research, I'm pretty dang positive that is going to be our version of Bullseye. Whether or not he gets called Bullseye, I don't know, but we see him with a gun. We see him throwing stuff around a bit, which is kind of the signature stuff with Bullseye. And if you're going to have somebody masquerading as Daredevil, you might as well use the opportunity to introduce Bullseye anyways, doing that sort of thing. And it also sort of brings up an interesting thing with that Daredevil, again, much like Spider-Man, is a very good candidate for this kind of, their reputation gets marred by someone pretending to be them storyline, because the mask is so face obscuring. If you can get a replica costume, it's actually really easy to frame this guy, because he can't be identified. So much of his face is covered, so all you have to do is recreate that mask, and yeah, you can seem like him and really just mess with everything. And I like the appearance that it looks like Fisk is really gonna just mess with, like, he wants to dwell and live and revel in making Matt Murdock and Daredevil pay for everything that he has endured for the last couple of seasons worth of television. And revenge and grudges tend to be a pretty standard, generic motivation. But if you can get somebody who is really reveling in it, like the way that Khan in Star Trek II reveled in the revenge of it. If you can get that right, oh, it's a glorious thing. And I'm hopeful because Kingpin has been magnificently portrayed so far already, and Vincent D'Onofrio seems to really get this character really well. So, against my better judgment, because my better judgment is telling me that there has not been a solid from start to finish, at least for me. I know other people have liked some of it, but for me, there has not been a full season of the Marvel Netflix that I've liked start to finish since the first season of Jessica Jones. Not all of them have been awful. Iron Fist Season 2 was better than Season 1, but it still wasn't great. Luke Cage Season 2 was more consistent than Season 1, but I'm not sure its highs were as high as Season 1 were. Jessica Jones Season 2 was not very good. Daredevil Season 2 had a couple of highlight bits in it, but overall was not nearly as strong as the first season. Defenders was a mess. For me, the track record for Marvel Netflix is not strong. When I break it down, how many seasons have worked and how many haven't at the end of the day. Again, for me, oh, and Punisher. I always forget about Punisher because I didn't finish it. I did go back because enough people told me it gets better later. I tried. I think I did 2 more episodes, which puts me 6 episodes into this thing. I'm sorry, I'm still finding it really boring. And that's not a knock on anyone who likes it. If you liked it, great. I'm envious, but I couldn't get through it. So, yeah. By that track record, I should not be looking forward to this. But I see this trailer, and I grin. I'm like, oh, yes. So, against my better judgment, I am excited. But what about you? What do you think about the trailer for Daredevil Season 3? Whatever it is you think, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. There's a bunch of stuff to do. There's buttons and there's links, including one to a Patreon page, if you're feeling so generous. So check that out if you feel like it. There's a bunch of other links down there too. But if you don't sweat it, because remember, you're the council. I just run the meetings. And until next time, this council is adjourned.